2000, the speculation that future President George W. Bush would not be allowed to enter Canada because he'd had a DUI conviction. A sweeter and simpler time. Our third story tonight, fast forward more than 8 years, and with Mr. Bush due to go to Canada to give his first post-presidential speech tomorrow, the first president elected after earning a rap sheet has probably managed to add a few more crimes in the interim. Conspiracy to torture, kidnapping, aggravated invasion of another country, the charges we know about. So will Canada let him in? If so, would they prosecute him? Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper of the Conservative Party is not commenting. He also has not responded to a Canadian attorney, Gail Davidson, of Lawyers Against the War, who joins us momentarily.
Sending the RCMP to meet him at the airport, the Calgary Chamber of Commerce has invited him downtown for a chat. For 6 years, the Canadian public sent me overseas to track down war criminals and try to put them in jail and get evidence against them, and we're inviting one to Canada right now. I've had friends of mine die overseas to keep these guys from doing what this guy has done.
Well, of all the cities in the country that are going to line up 1,500 people to pay $400 a plate to see George Bush, of course, it's going to be Calgary. Now, to be fair to Calgary, there's a lot of people there that protested, and some of those people that protested have met with the dark end of the law. Yes, people throwing flip-flops against a wall were charged in an homage to the Iraqi fella that threw a shoe at Bush and unfortunately missed his fat fucking evil head. Unfortunately, the folks in Calgary who also missed Bush's head by a landslide, and some were doing it just symbolically, were arrested by the police who, if they were really doing their job as police officers, would have enforced the fact that anyone reasonably suspected of terrorist activity, of torturous activity, would have at least arrested Bush when he came over, if they had the balls, and if they had the stones, and if they had the tasers. Oh, they do have the tasers. Well, then there's no reason that they shouldn't have arrested.
Arrest him right now, Canada! You should be ashamed of yourself! Bush wasn't arrested. In fact, he seemed to be quite content during an evening on the town last night. Instead, police arrested him.
You are stopping the process of an arrest. You have not, we have asked you as representatives of the people to arrest this man. We're asking you to arrest him now. Okay. I'm not touching you. You're touching me.
One protester went too far and was wrestled down and handcuffed by the Calgary police.
Shame on you! Arrest Bush, not the people! What happened to our democracy? War criminal, go home!
Arrest him for that. You can't arrest him fucking now. What is he doing? He's fucking...
They knew very well that hundreds of people were being tortured. Innocent people were being tortured. And how many? All we have to do is go back within our brains and think and look at the images that we've seen day in and day out. And the revelations of hundreds of people being tortured. People in stressed positions, electrical shocks, naked, dogs barking. We'll critique waterboarding, we'll critique all of the atrocities that were perpetuated in total violations of the Geneva Convention of 1906, in violation of the Charter, the UN Charter against the use of torture, which Canada and many other countries like Spain that are seeking to punish these people and indict these people. Who is a federal judge today? A federal judge who advocates torture is sitting on the bench deciding somebody's fate within the U.S. penal systems. David Addison, Douglas Fife, and others. Part of the neoconservative regime of the Bush administration that took us into Iraq and Afghanistan. And if you think for anything else, if you think it was to deliver democracy, that's the kind of democracy we don't need. They went there to deliver death squads, political abductions, and assassinations in order to steal oil and resources. And if we think anything else, we're just kidding ourselves. We're kidding ourselves. We have to look at the realities of why can you torture with impunity? I don't see myself as a hero. I don't think of myself as a hero. I think of myself as a human being that was posed with a dilemma. Either I intervene or I don't. There's no time for heroes. I don't believe in heroes. I have many people that have been my heroes over the years, but every hero has met some very cruel deaths. I look at the reality to who we are, what we got to do. I don't get lost in egos about being this or being that. I got a job to do. Either I'm going to do the job and I'm going to look at myself with integrity, or I'm not going to do a job and I'm going to say, geez, and I am going to be just as frightened as the next human being when there's an all-out police state unleashed onto the populations because the whole economy has totally imploded and or whatever has precipitated the worst that we could face. And yet it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way because it's time for us to re-empower and take control of our own destiny.